Welcome back to the Fuji Guy's channel. My name is Francis. So you just bought yourself a brand new FUJIFILM X-S10 and you're looking for the top features to get your camera rolling. Well, we're gonna have a look at that, so keep on watching. All right, so first we're going to have a look at how to navigate the menus. So first, we're just going to turn on the camera and then press on the menu OK button. And then from there, we can navigate the menus using the joystick. And then we can also use the front command dial to navigate through different pages, or use the rear command dial to navigate through the individual items. And then to select, we can either press on the menu OK button, or we can simply press onto the joystick that acts as an OK button. Now, once we're into a selected item, we can either press on back to come back, or we can also push the joystick to the left, and that will bring us back to the previous menu. Now on the X-S10, you can either use the LCD screen, which can rotate to frame your images, or you can use the electronic viewfinder. And as you can see, once I bring my eye up to the eye sensor, it will switch from the LCD to the EVF. And so you have 5 different view modes you can choose from. By simply pushing on this button right here, you can toggle between the 5 different modes. So if I click on it once, I have LCD only. So if I, cover the eye sensor, nothing is happening. Now, if I click on it now, it's going to be the EVF only. And as you can see, it stays on all the time. If I click again, now it's going to be turned off. But once I bring my eye to it, it's going to power on. Now let's click one more time to get to the next mode. I have the eye sensor plus LCD image display. So if I bring it to my eye and then I take a couple pictures, and then I remove my eye from the camera, it's going to display the last image I took. And then the last one would be the eye sensor. So whenever I bring it to my eye, it's going to switch to the EVF, and then I remove it, it gets back to the LCD. All right, so now let's talk about the autofocusing point. So first I can go into the menu, and then if I go into the AF/MF section of the menu, and then to focus mode, I can select whether I want it to be in manual focus, in continuous autofocus, or in single autofocus. I'm going to choose single autofocus. Next, I have the AF mode, so I can choose from single point, a zone, or a wide tracking, or I can select all, so then that way I can navigate through all the different options by simply rotating the rear command dial, and I'm going to show you how. So if I move the joystick and then I use the rear command dial to change the AF size, you can see now I'm in zone. I'm going to get into wide tracking, and then I'm back to single point, and then I can change the size of my focus point. Now, I think that the option menu all is the best because I can quickly go through the different ones, but you can select single point only if you prefer, or the zone or the wide tracking only. Now, getting back into the menu, I can go down and select the number of autofocusing points I want. So I can choose from 117 or 425 autofocusing points. Now, if I press and hold on the joystick, I can customize the way it behaves. So when I push on it, I can choose whether I want it to zoom in the image or edit the autofocusing point, or I can simply turn it off if I'm scared of accidentally pushing it. I'd rather have it set to edit focus area, and then the tilting, I can have it to simply direct the autofocusing point, so it won't allow me to change the size of the autofocusing point, but I can move it around. I have the edit focus area, which again will allow me to change the size of the autofocusing point, or I have the direct AF point selection face select. So if you have face select enabled and you have 2-person in the shot, you can use the joystick to prioritize one face over the other. So I'm going to have it to direct AF point selection, And now, as you can see, when I move it around, it doesn't become green and I can't change the size of it. I need to push in on the joystick and then I can change the size of the AF point. Now let's talk about the LCD screen options. Well, first of all, as you can see, the LCD is a fully articulating screen so that you can have it aim at yourself if you wanted to do some vlogging or take some selfies, for example. So that's really handy. And then you can also bring it back on itself to protect the LCD whenever you put it in your camera bag. So that's a nice little touch there so that you can protect your LCD from being scratched. So let's bring it back. Now, we're going to go into the menu and then to the wrench icon. And then we're going to go to button dial setting. And then we're going to go to the second page to touchscreen settings. Now you have different options in terms of the touchscreen, which you can enable or disable. So touchscreen setting, I set it to on. Double tap setting is set to off, but I can set it to on. So that will allow me to zoom in. The touch functions, so I'm going to leave that on so you can swipe in each direction to bring back some custom functions. The touchscreen setting in the playback menu, I want it on, so if I want to swipe between different images, pinch to zoom. And the EVF touchscreen area, I leave it to off personally, but if you wanted, you can set an area of the screen that remains touch enabled whenever you bring the camera to your eye so that you can move your focus point by touching this area. So you can move your focus point by using the touch function. I personally like to use the joystick, but that's an option there. And then again, you can select which area of the screen would be touch sensible. Now, if we go back to the main screen, as you can see in the corner here, we have a little button. So that's set to area now. So that's where you touch and then you can move your focus point around. You can also drag it around. So that's for your focus area. You can click on it, then that will turn it to off. And then we have another option that would be shoot. So if I click on the screen, it's going to aim and take a picture, and there you go. And if I click again, I'm going to AF. So that will autofocus, but it won't take a picture. So if you want to pre-focus on something, you would use that feature, but I personally like to leave it on area, and then I can just place my focus point around, and then I use the shutter button to focus and then take the picture. Now you can also customize what's displayed on your screen. So as you can see, I have some information here, but I can add or remove information there. So how do I do that? I go into the menu and then I go down to the wrench icon and then to screen setup. And then I'm going to go to the third page to display custom setting. And then from there, I can choose the various things I want to display onto my LCD and EVF as well. So if I wanted to have an electronic level, for example, now I'm going to show you, now I have an electronic level that will become green as soon as it's leveled. Now, if I go back into the menu and to the screen setup, you will see I have some more information. I can have large indicator mode in the EVF or the LCD. So if I turn it on, you can see now all of my icons have become bigger so that I can see them better in my screen. Now on the X-S10, you do have a quick menu button right here, which will give you access to some settings that you might frequently use, but it's also customizable so that you can put the items you want in there. So if I click on the Q button, you will see that I have the Q menu pop up. And then as you can see, I have 16 items. And then I can go to them and then simply use the rear command dial to change the settings. And then I can use either the front command dial to move through the items or the joystick, or I can even click on the items and then select them using my finger. Now, if I go into the menu, I can go to the wrench icon and then to button and dial setting. And then I have my Q menu for the photo side of things, and then the Q menu for the video side of things. So from there, I can choose the number of items that will be in these quick menus. So in the photo modes, I can see I have 16 now. I can change it to 4, 8, 12, or 16. Now let's put it to 4 just to see, and then I can go and click on it, and then I can choose what I'm going to assign to it. So let's say the MF assist, and then this one I'm going to put the flicker reduction, for example, leave the self timer here. And then if I click on my Q menu here, you can see I have my 4 items there. Now if I go back into the menu, change it to 8, here we go. Now if I go into the screen setup, I can also change the way that the Q menu will look. So if I go into the third page and go to the Q menu background, I can set it to either transparent or black. So right now I have it to transparent. So if I aim and then show you, you can see I can see through the Q menu. And then if I go to the video mode, you will see that my Q menu will be different because it is independent from the movie mode. So as you can see, I have different options in the Q menu that are related to the video mode. Now the FUJIFILM X-S10 is highly customizable, and we have 6 custom buttons as well as a function dial and 4 touch functions. So the way I'm going to customize them is simply by pressing on the display back button for a couple seconds, and then you can see a diagram popping up, and then you can see in green highlighted which button it is. So as you can see, all these buttons are customizable. And then I also have my touch functions as well. Now, if I wanted to change the way a button behaves, let's say I'm going to use the Q button and I want to change it to something else. Now let's go and set it to the histogram. So it's selected. Now if I go back and then I click on my Q button, you can see that my histogram pops up. Now, as you saw, we had some touch functions as well. So if I swipe, you can see Sports Finder mode, bring it up, it's the histogram, bring it down, it's the 3D level, and then that way it's the large icons. So that's how you customize your function buttons. Now you have 4 custom position on your dial on the X-S10. So C1, C2, C3, and C4. And then each of these custom positions can be programmed to your liking. So how to customize them? Well, first, we're going to go into the menu, and then we're going to go to the third page of the IQ menu, and then to edit, save custom setting. So you can either save your current settings that you have right now, or you can edit them right in the menu. So let's say I go to the custom one, and then I can choose all of my settings, whether it's the raw recording, the film simulation, white balance, all these things can all be saved, the tone curve as well. And then I can simply press on the display back, and then it's going to ask me if I want to save these settings. I can press OK. Now, another way you can do them a little bit more quickly, if you would, is that if you have the auto update setting enabled. So I can just go into the C1 position and then dial in all of my settings. So let's say I want to bring up the sharpness, the tone curve, let's make it kind of crazy so that we can see a difference here. So that's how I want it. And then auto, and then film simulation, we're gonna put it to, let's say sepia, so that we can, see the difference. So now I am on to, let's bring it here. Now I am into the C1 position, and then I go to C2, and then you can see my settings are changing. You can see the different settings, and then you can see the C1 position, and then these are all recorded. Now, if I go back into the menu, I can also name these custom settings as well. So let's go into the menu and then go to the image quality on page 3, edit custom settings, and then edit custom name. So custom one, let's call it ABCD and set. And then you can see my C1 is called ABCD. All right, so that wraps it up for the top features of the FUJIFILM X-S10. I hope this helps you get your camera rolling and out shooting. And if you want to know more about this and other Fujifilm products, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until the next time, c'était Francis pour les Fuji Guys.